Hi, friends.
Hi, friends. It's us again. I'm
We're back.
April.
I'm Claire.
We're going to introduce ourselves. Look at us.
I know. We're
and
we're adulting.
and this is Brunch and Judge.
It is indeed. We're
Welcome
back for
to
another week of whatever we're doing.
uh Lord of all the judging. It's been a week filled with judging.
Oh,
Ugh.
geez.
Welcome to
Right.
episode 22. There's nothing good
Yes.
about 22.
You're just there.
You're an adult still. Yay. It hasn't
Yay.
set in yet that being adult it sucks and it's stupid,
Right.
but you'll get there soon enough.
That's
Enjoy
right.
it, 22.
I'm feeling 22. Sorry. Anytime anybody says 22, that's what goes through my head.
Well, I mean, we all need to have our things.
Well, that's right. So, what are you judging this week?
Oh God. Okay, so this week, guys,
She's like, oh God.
so throwback. This is a throwback judge
Okay.
because everyone has been judging this for the last 3 years. Guys, I'm fucking judging COVID. I am so over the
Yes.
bullshit that is COVID. That is won't go away. Like I even today I read about a new subvariant of a
Oh,
subvariant that is
geez.
gonna take us all out because it no longer gives a shit if you've ever had COVID or if you've been vaccinated. It's like, I don't care. Your immune system's stupid. So we're gonna come and attack you anyway. And I was like, all right, that's the one that's gonna get me. But I'm judging because the last 2 weeks of my life have been an actual living hell because everyone on my staff, except for 3 of us, have had COVID.
Oh my gosh.
And like,
How do
it
you
started
even
off,
deal with that? I mean, at that point, just shut the library down.
well, like we were fucking close. I'm not gonna lie. Like we've not been that
You're like,
close
how do you
before.
even function with just 3 employees?
Well, so luckily we had a little bit of a tier. So we had one person get it, and then another person got it probably from them. We don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And then we had like 2 or 3 week grace period of no COVID. And we were like, oh, it's fine now.
Right.
But
No,
then
it's a lie.
but
It's not fine.
well, and so I still thought it was fine because then one of our staff got COVID, but she found out about it very pretty quickly before she came to work. She was, so she'd been off for like a couple days before that. So like, oh well, like her pool of contamination is small, so it's
Right.
fine. She's a Saturday person. There's not a lot of Saturday people. It's probably
Yeah.
fine. It's probably fine. So like she went down and everybody was fine, and I was like, this is gonna be fine. But then another person went down, and I was like,
Mm,
well, they had a whole thing on the Saturday, so fine, whatever.
right.
But then another person goes down, and then another person goes down, and I'm like, I can't. So like that
You're just
was
like, I can't deal with this anymore.
well, and that was last week. So of those people, um, all but one of them should have come back to work on Tuesday of this
Hmm.
week. Only one of them did.
Oh, wow.
And then the other person was supposed to come back on Thursday, and she's still not come back. So here's the thing: I oversee all programming, and every single fucking one of these people are like my programming staff.
Oh,
And we're
no.
in the middle of fucking summer reading, which is a nightmare all on its own, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
And
because summer reading has so many programs. You're just like,
well, and
eh.
they're all over the place. And like
Yeah.
I know what they are and the generic concept of most of them, but like they're not like I have some of my programs, but like
But
these
they're
are
not all
not
your
my
programs.
programs.
Yeah.
So today, for example, I ran 2 programs, all while also covering desk shifts for other people. So like I can't.
You're just like, nope.
And like I'm fielding phone calls from all these external things that I'm also doing. And I'm like, I can't do anything for you. And they're like, well, but we need blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I need you to understand that we literally are just limping along because
Right.
as people slowly start to come back, they suck. Like they aren't like
because they're not
they're
100% when they
well,
come back. Yeah.
and they're like so not 100% because like
Yeah.
like 100% would mean useful, and they're not useful to me. They are like when they stand up for 30 seconds, they're exhausted. I'm like, this is not okay with me. It's like
Right.
I can't do more. Which is why today I left early because I have to go to work again tomorrow, which I'm not supposed to because it's supposed to be my day off. But the whole world is burning in a COVID fiery flame of hell. So like I I left early. I was telling my boss, like, I'm leaving a little early because I have to come in tomorrow. I still will have way too many hours this week, but I'll
Right.
cross that bridge later. And he was like, oh, okay. And he was asking me something. I was like, no, like, I need to leave right now because if I don't leave in the next like 15 minutes, I'm going to quit.
Right.
He was like, what? Don't do that. He's like, that's right. Don't do that. I'm the only goddamn person holding this place together. It's falling apart. Everything's on fire. And I'm over here going, tiny little fire extinguisher going, don't let the flames get too close.
You're just spitting out of a straw. Like,
and like, so last Friday was the worst because everybody was gone and down and out. There's no one. It was me because there's officially only 3 of us on staff who have not gotten COVID.
like at all.
I mean, we're absolutely in the Agatha Christie novel, and then there were none. There's only 3 of us left. And like,
Oh,
I'm
geez.
going down, man. I'm the fucking judge. I'm not dead. I'm here for it.
Right.
I'm winning. So I'm like, ain't gonna be me.
You're like, I'm winning this game.
We're just like barely surviving. It's a nightmare on Friday. And then the public has the audacity to say shit to us, like getting mad because I've had to cancel some programs because I
Oh, yeah.
can't do some of the things because
They're not your
don't
programs.
know how. It's
Right.
not I can't suddenly pretend like I know how to use a piece of equipment that I've never touched before. Like I can't do things.
Right.
It's like, good grief. Like there's only so much I can fake, guys. So like we get crap and I'm like, everybody has COVID because we get crap from the public being like, no one wants to work anymore. I'm like, no, everybody has COVID
Right.
and they physically can't work.
Well, that's like people don't want to work. Like you tell people, like this week, my bosses are on vacation. Next week, coworkers on vacation. A couple weeks ago, I was on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, you tell people you're like, oh, we're shorthanded, this week. And plus, this week was a short week because of the holiday. And, people are wanting stuff, and you're just like, we just can't do it because we've already got stuff on the schedule. And you tell people, oh, we're shorthanded this week. We're going to be shorthanded next week. And that's the first thing they automatically go to is, oh, people don't want to work anymore. And I'm just like, no.
They're on vacation.
It's because
Back
we
off,
have
bitch.
employees taking vacation.
Yeah.
Because they need vacation.
Well, yeah. And
everybody
I go
needs
into
a vacation.
mode. Every time someone says shit like that to me, even if it's not related to my librarian employees, I attack because I'm like, fuck you, you don't know anything. Okay.
Right.
Stop saying words, you piece of shit. Like that.
I know. It's like anytime we say we're shorthanded, it's not, then they automatically go to that. Like, oh, people don't work. And it's like, no, it's because somebody's on vacation or somebody's out for the day,
or maybe they fucking have COVID. Like,
or yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, because I work at, it's a small business. There's only six of us there. So it's like when one person is not there, you feel it more than if you worked for like a big corporation or something, where they've got hundreds and hundreds of employees. That's just how it is. I mean, and you just kind of root hog or die, kind of everybody just kind of picks up the slack where they can to take up for that one person, which is why they do shut down they shut down for a whole week. So that's one of your vacation weeks. But that's just because it gets hard, to have to keep picking up slack when somebody's on vacation.
When honestly, just the ability to put a sign up that's like "fuck off" or closed, so that you don't have to deal with those people. Because
exactly,
like, shut up, people. I mean,
I feel like at that point you should just shut the library down. You're just like, this is not worth it.
We were close. In fact, on Friday we were like, "How are you feeling?" Because we were all like, "It's coming for us. It's coming for us."
Right.
And I've been telling everyone this week, I'm like, you guys better be all right next week because I'm getting COVID next week just so I don't have to come to work for a week. All right.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to let it take me. I'm done because I'm so burnt out, and I
Right.
just had a 2-week vacation not that long ago, and I am on like
R
fumes. It's been awful.
right.
And if Monday had not been a holiday, we could not have opened because it would have just
Yeah.
been me and Bob.
Wow.
And it would have just
Oh
been
my
like, nope,
gosh.
can't do it. Sorry, guys. Bye.
Right. You're just like, "It's impossible. This is not
Hmm.
happening."
But no,
Oh, jeez.
I fucking hate that reaction. It makes me crazy. But all
Right.
of this to say, I fucking hate COVID. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, guys, if we can go back to like pure pandemic life where no one leaves their house and we all just
Right.
live like little hermits, fine. I can do that. I need that at this point. I am
You're like,
dying.
"I'm ready for that life."
I have never hated people as much as I've hated people this past couple of weeks. Like, everyone walks in the door. I'm like, God damn it, I hate them. And it's like a cute little girl
Right.
with pigtails. And I'm like, but
Right.
she's basically just like she's a human virus herself, bringing her death and disease and contagion. Like, we can't lose anybody else.
Oh my gosh.
Mm. So that's my judge. I fucking hate COVID. I'm so tired of it. Either just take us all out or send us all home or just go the hell away. I can't
Right.
anymore. It's like
He's like, "I literally cannot with you anymore."
I'm gonna need some like serious therapy to get through it.
Right.
Ugh.
I think we all are.
Mm.
Everybody at this point, everybody needs a therapist. It's just like,
Just to be
nope.
like, God damn COVID. It's just
Yes.
wrecking up my life, man.
COVID
Like I have
spoiled
worked
it. I tell you
so years.
one party that COVID did not spoil was my brother's anniversary trip. He tested
Yay.
negative, so
Yay. Well, and
after that whole ordeal.
Spencer got to go to Kentucky, and I was worried that I was going to bring COVID home and
Right.
wreck his trip. So honestly, now is the perfect time for me to get it because he's not here. So
He's
I
not
can't give
here,
it to
so
him and I can just be done. Because once I get it
right.
once, we're done. No more. Dunzos. Understand? Do you hear me,
Right.
COVID? No more.
Oh my
Get it
gosh.
one time and it can't even be bad. It just has to be slightly nuisancey and we're done.
That's crazy.
Also, I laughed that I
Well,
was still standing.
right.
I'm like, how the fuck is it not taking me? I get every stupid disease that comes
I'm
through
the
the
only
world, and I'm
well,
like,
and I'm the only one at my job that
I'm the only one in
hasn't
my family, I think, that hasn't had it.
see nobody will knock on all the wood
Well, the Christmas thing
because
happened, so well, yeah.
yeah, nobody in my family, like immediate family, has had it.
Mhm. But
So,
everyone's fine. No one's had any
oh yeah,
problems, so it's like whatever. But of course, I'm also like still wearing like N95 masks to work every day, and I'm like, bring it.
right. Oh
Mm,
gosh. Well, that's a good judge.
thank
I
you.
feel like I feel like any time is a good time to judge COVID
Just
because
I
it's just
really just
like,
need like a shirt that says "fuck you, COVID." Just
right.
and
It's yeah.
just here's just a little caveat, guys. I know it's a miracle I haven't been fired from my job because I say stuff like this to people, to the public. I mean, I don't say "fuck you, COVID," but
You
actually, maybe I
really
have.
want
Maybe I have.
to.
But like, I do
Yeah.
tell people to stop and check their privilege, and that they can leave. Like, you can
Right.
leave now, and I don't care. No one fires me, and I'm pretty sure the reason why is because everything's on fire, and if they fire me, the whole place burns
The whole
down.
place is just gonna burn down.
So I'll have to like deal with that if we ever live in a non-fire filled world. But for now, I'm gonna enjoy my my weird power that I have.
You can just like be real with people.
It's like you can take a flying fuck, or
Right.
it's like
Right
you
out
can
the
fuck
window.
off, or you can take a flying fuck, or you can do whatever you want. Just get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Hmm. It'll
Oh,
happen one
well.
day.
That's a good judge. It
Thank
is.
you. All right, Claire. What are you judging this week?
I got a couple. First, real quick, I'm judging myself because on my lunch break today, I burned popcorn. And I really feel like it was like 3 seconds away from catching on fire.
Oh my god.
It was bad. It was so bad. But I mean, I said like to 2.5 minutes. I put it in the thing for 2.5 minutes And I was like working on the story for this, just finishing up a last little few things. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden I realized I'm like, it's not popping anymore. So I just hopped up off the couch and got in there, and there was still 30 seconds left. There was smoke pouring out of the microwave with the door shut. And I was like, oh
Mm.
shit. So I stop it, I open the door, and I mean, this bag looks like a smoke machine.
Oh my
It is like,
god.
I mean, it is pouring out. And it was like so thick and so much that it felt like, I don't know if you've ever been like cleaning a bathroom or something and it's a small space and all of a sudden you feel like you're getting choked because of the fumes. Like it
Oh,
just gets you in the back of your
yes.
throat.
Yes, I
That's what
have.
this was.
Oh
Like there was
god.
so
Are
much
you
of
sure
it.
you didn't set it for 20 minutes?
No, I just did the little like,
'Cause, like,
like the one little button that you push, you
oh, for
know.
the popcorn button? I
Well,
touched the
no, this
popcorn
was,
button.
they've got the quick start, so, like, if you press, like,
Oh,
1, it'll just automatically do it
do
for
a
1
minute?
minute,
Right,
or
mhm.
2 does it for 2 minutes, you know? I was just like, I mean, I couldn't even put the bag in the trash can, I had to take it outside because it was
I've
still
done that.
smoking, and
Wow.
so I'm like, "Oh, geez," so I turned the fan on in the kitchen. I'm not at my house, by the way, guys. I'm dog
That's
sitting, so I'm at my
that's
boss's house, and now my boss's house smells like burnt
that's
popcorn.
good because for the next 2 months, everything that she cooks in the microwave will smell like burnt
Smell like burnt
popcorn.
popcorn.
And I know this because I accidentally exploded butter in my microwave. I was just trying to like melt butter for a recipe of some kind, and I set it too long. Because for some stupid ass reason, a tiny piece of butter will not melt even if you put it in for 2 minutes, but a whole hunk and
Right,
stick will melt in less than 2 seconds just to fuck you
right.
up. And so I missed it, and it went, and so butter kind of went everywhere. And like I wiped it down, I like got dish soap to clean it all up. Like I scrubbed the crap out of that thing. Still smells like butter. Every time I heat up my coffee in the morning, I'm like, my coffee smells like butter now. It's so irritating.
But so, yeah, so I'm like, "Oh, crap," and I'm dealing with the dog, and I kinda get the
Did they
smoke
not
out.
alert you? Did the dogs like go, you're
Well, the
setting the
dog was
house on fire?
outside. The dog was outside.
Mm.
'Cause what it is, I come when I get
Oh,
to the
to let the
house.
dog out. Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
I get to the house, the dog eats, and then I let the dog outside, that way I can eat in peace,
Fair.
because the dog will just sit there and stare at me and want my food and whine, and I'm
Hmm.
like, "You literally just ate your lunch, let me eat my" that kinda thing. So, the dog was outside, and I got the stuff like, most of the smoke was gone by the time I left to go back to work, and I get in the car, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I smell like burnt popcorn." Like, it was just, like, in my pores, and I'm like, "This is so bad." So I get back to work, and I'm just like, "I know I smell like burnt popcorn. I smell like burnt popcorn. This is awful." So, coworker is dealing with a customer. Natalie's dealing with this customer, and I come in, and I'm just like, so I go and I sit down at the desk, and I'm behind her, and she turns around, and she was like, "Did you eat, like, tuna or something for lunch?"
Tuna? Burned popcorn smells like tuna to her? Interesting,
You'd be
interesting.
surprised. There's
Interesting.
been more than once that, like, somebody has gotten either one or the other confused. Like,
Huh.
I don't know, it's weird. And I just kinda, like, snickered, and I was like, "No." And I'm laughing, and she's like, "Did you fart or something?"
Did
And I was
you
like,
fart?
"No." And so she's like, "What's that smell?" And I was just like, "I burned popcorn at lunch." And she was like, "Oh my gosh." And so it was just like, it's in my hair. Like, I
Mhm.
changed clothes. I changed my bra, I changed my panties, I changed all of it when I got here before we recorded, but I still smell it because it's in my hair.
Mhm.
And it's just like, I mean, it's not as strong as it was, obviously, but it's just like, yeah, I smell like
Mm.
burnt popcorn
Mm.
still. Yeah, this is great. So that's why I was like, if you're near me and you think you're having a stroke, you're not. I'm the one who smells like burnt popcorn.
We play
So,
that game all the time. For so, um,
but the
our
popcorn
our
was
couch, I think,
expired.
is. Oh, maybe that's
So,
why.
and I think that might have done it because, like I said, it had not been in there. Like I said, there were still
Oh,
30
is it
seconds
maybe,
left.
like, clumped together?
It was.
So that
Like, it
okay.
looked like it hardly had popped at all in the
You
bag.
gotta break that shit up before you put it in the
I
microwave.
did though, like, I mashed it when I did the bag. I didn't even look when I put it in the microwave, I didn't look
Mhm.
at the expiration date.
Did you throw the rest of it away to keep Carrie from doing that?
Yes, the rest of it is in the garbage.
Good, good,
So I
good.
was just like, "Yeah,
It's like, you
this
this
is
is
bad."
unsafe popcorn. It will
No.
burn down your house.
I mean, and I'm talking like it expired in May of last year. It's
I
like,
mean,
no.
I was under the impression, by the way, that corn is one of those things that doesn't really expire. But here I am hearing otherwise. So cool, cool, cool.
I think it
Chemicals
just,
will
like, it
burn
just
down your
did not
house.
pop like it's
Yeah.
supposed to, something I don't know. Anyway, I was very disappointed that I didn't get my buttered popcorn for lunch.
That's fair. I would also
I
be
was
very
disappointed.
sad.
But anyway, yeah. So if popcorn's expired, guys,
Don't
yeah,
pop that
be
shit.
careful. Be careful with that, because I think I almost set the house on fire. I mean, I really feel like I was, like, 3 seconds away
That's
from
like the
flames coming out of
the
the microwave.
the best welcome home present to your boss. Hey boss, I burned your house down with your expired popcorn. Don't worry, the dog was outside. It's
Uh,
fine.
I would have had to save the cat, and that cat does not like me.
Well,
The cat only
maybe it would like you know that you smell like tuna slash burned popcorn.
maybe.
Oh.
The cat only tolerates me because I feed it.
Mm.
So and
Well, I mean,
it screams at me when it wants water. It's always
it's
like,
to be
"Meow,
honest, most cats
meow."
are like that. They basically just tolerate
Yeah,
us.
right. So, that's my one judge.
Excellent.
My other judge both of these things happened today. It was like, "Oh my geez." So my other job, I did both jobs today. I'm tired. Um, there was a kid who was having the most epic of meltdowns in the store.
I despise children. It's not a
This kid was
secret.
like 3 or 4 years old in a stroller, and the mom is trying to shop for bras, and he was just not having it. I don't know if he wanted out of the stroller. I mean, she had, uh, a tablet for him to play with, and I mean, he was just screaming, pure screaming over and over and over again, and she goes back into the dressing room,
Hey,
and
you
he's
might want to
still
pause for a second. I don't.
okay.
Oh, there you go. It's like I don't know if you can see it, but your video got cut and it was going,
Yeah, I
and I
saw
was just
that.
like,
I know, I was
so.
like, "That's really weird what's
Well,
happening." I was trying to ignore it.
the first night that Spencer was gone, I had a dream that I was possessed by a demon.
Oh, no.
So you're doing them going, oh God. See here. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But
Continue,
anyway,
continue, continue.
so the kids their mom's trying on bras in the dressing room, and I mean, the kid is still screaming. Like, I think she let him out of the stroller in the dressing room, and he was and finally you could hear her, like, I guess she was trying to ignore him at one point,
Yeah, I
but
get
when you
it.
get back in the dressing room, you could hear her going like, "Shh, you need," trying to get him to calm
It's like,
down.
you need to calm down. Maybe just play the Taylor Swift song. You need to
Right.
calm down. You're
Right,
being too
right.
loud.
And so she comes up, she found a bra that fits, and she's buying it, and the kid is still screaming, like, you have to get people's information, like their
Right.
phone number and all that jazz. I could hardly tell what she was saying. I mean, the kid just would not shut up, and I mean, at this point, I was just like, "This kid's just being a dick." He really is, because, I mean, it was like
Mm-hmm.
one of those, like, you're not hurt,
Mm-hmm.
you know? You're not you're just being mean just because 'cause
Well,
you're not getting what you want.
all kids under I swear the age is truly 6, but I'll drop it down to like 3 or 4 just to make people feel better. But they're just sociopaths. They don't have empathy. Like
Right,
they have fake concepts of empathy, like they'll be sweet to things, but it's not for
right.
empathetic reasons. Your children would murder you in their sleep if they thought it would get them what they wanted, and they would never feel
Right,
bad about it. Just need you to know that. That is reason 737 as to why I don't want children.
right.
The sociopathic stage.
But,
Yes, so he
checking
was absolutely being a giant dick.
oh, 100%.
Mhm.
And so we're checking out, and I turn my back to grab a bag to put her bra in it, and I hear this, like, thump on the ground, and I turn around and she pays and whatever, and she bends over and she picks up a clear Starbucks cup, you know,
Mhm.
and she puts it back in the stroller. And as she's walking out, like she's walking away, and then she was like, "Oh, when he threw the cup, the water got it was full of water and there's water on the floor."
I'm sorry,
And she
bitch
just
did what
leaves.
now? She wasn't like, "Oh god, I'm so sorry my son threw his cup or whatever." Got you
Yeah,
paper towels, like, even if because at that point when people do that, I'm like, "Oh, I'll get it. Don't worry about it,
right.
because 'cause I'm a nice human being." But, like, as the I love on the way out, "Oh, hey, by the way, that cup had water in it, so there's water everywhere."
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I
So
fucking
there's like
hate people.
this giant puddle of water in the floor, and I'm just like, "Well, at least it's not
Bitch.
pee. At least it's not pee."
And that is where we are in our work weeks, guys, as we are too.
Ugh,
Well, at least it wasn't pee.
'cause been there, done that.
Mhm.
And so I'm just like, "Oh my gosh." It was a lot, and we have cheapo paper towels, and so had to go get
Mhm.
a mop, and the girl I was working with, she wound up taking care of the majority of it because we had customers and we're trying to like, "Don't step in the water and slip and fall and
Right?
break your neck,"
Mhm.
that kind of thing. "Stay away because it needs to dry."
Well,
It's
I
like, come
can
on, people. I get that. I get that, you can't that's how you teach your kids how to behave in public is to take them out in public. I'm
I
not
was gonna
saying
say
don't
that
take your kids out
child
in
is
public.
going to stay a dick because his mom is a dick. So, congrats. I'm glad these people keep having children. Gross.
Right. And that was another thing is when she was over next to the bras that the panty we have panty drawers were over there, and the way that his stroller was facing, like he could just reach, and he did. He reached in and he grabbed an entire handful of panties. And the girl I was working with was like, "No, no, 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 no." And she said that he looked right at her
And
after
did
he
it
had them,
anyway.
and he threw it. I was like, "No."
I do not know why people have children. Like, I don't get it. They're awful. Ugh,
It's just
gross.
like,
And I
oh,
love all of my
jeez.
nieces and nephews profusely, but I still question the
Exactly.
sanity of my siblings. I'm like, you did this on purpose. I mean, because they're fine now. But
Right.
like, damn, we all remember the littles. They were
Oh, yeah.
pure evil.
But yeah, it was just one of those nights where it was like, "Okay, great."
Mhm. We need to
This is
start
like pe
we need to
I
start
don't know.
having making it normal for businesses to say no children.
I
None.
mean, I feel like that yeah, you know, that's where I'm at. It's
Or
like
like playpen, child locking area. Your child can stay right there. And that's the only place they can go. We'll lock them
I
in
mean,
for you. We'll give you the keys, only you can get them out.
'cause it's like part of me is like, this is a retail business,
Mhm.
not a daycare. You know, I'm not working here so I can clean up after children.
No.
But I've had to do that way more than I would have ever thought that I would have had to have done
When it
when you're working, especially as specialized as this retail business is,
right.
it's
There are
just
no
women's clothing.
children's items in the
Right.
store anywhere. Not a single
Right.
one. So like I get it. Kids are gonna be bored in there, blah 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 blah. But my issue is if you are choosing to have children, which up until recently that was a choice you could have. Now it's not so much,
Right.
but for right now, if you currently have children, you made the choice to have those children, you are responsible. When they do stupid ass shit in public, you are
Right.
responsible. If they mess stuff up, like, no, there's no normal employee who's gonna scream at you because your child is being awful and horrible. If you come up to his like, I'm so sorry, my child did this.
Right.
We're gonna be like, "Oh, no big I mean, we'll still hate your child, but we'll think better of you because you came to tell us. Oh, we'll take
Right.
care of it, thank you for letting us know," is my number one thing. I said, "Thank you for letting us know, because now I can deal with it and fix it."
Right.
Don't be dicks. God.
Yes.
Ugh.
But it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, why am I having to clean up after children. This is not. I mean, this is not a daycare.
Mm-mm.
This is not a children's store. This
And
is
I can add, and I work in a place where children come, but I can promise you that I do not
right.
get paid for that shit. So
I
I will
know. That's
not
what I'm
pick up
just
after
like.
your child.
Like nobody gets paid enough to put up with this junk.
And
I mean, it really was like the kid was just screaming. I mean, he literally sounded like he was dying. And he was screaming so much that he would like start coughing and then cry more. And it was like, why?
and
Why?
I'm like,
Why? What is happening?
I'm gonna let a parent deal with that and be like, maybe they're going through a phase where they're trying to get their kid to like self-soothe or to like
Right.
get it out of the system or whatever. Fine. If they're not
right.
actively disrupting other people in the store, fine. If they're not actively throwing stuff around, fine. I'm gonna be like, ugh, hate kids, but also I get it.
Yes.
I don't want to be a
Absolutely.
parent, so whatever. But like, fucking pick up after your kids, guys. You made them. You're responsible. Ugh. On that note, I'm seeing my doctor in a couple weeks to schedule getting my tubes tied so that I can't have them because
There
I'm
you
done with.
go.
I'm like, nope. Too many public to be like, ugh, can't do that. Can't have
Right.
that.
You're just like, nope, I'm done.
Nope, no children for me.
It's like if I was ever on the fence about having kids,
this
sometimes
job has
being
helped, right?
yeah, yeah. This retail job has helped me like, yeah, no, no. Not that I was really on the fence about it anyway. I was really not like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want kids.
Well, I just there's such
This
a
kind of just
short
pushed me further.
there's a small period of time in which they are big enough to be self-sufficient enough that you can like breathe, but they're
Right.
not yet teenagers. And it's like maybe a 2, 3, if you're lucky, year gap in which they're not too small, so you have to pay attention to them all the time, and they're not too big to be awful adolescents with broken brains. So I'm like, why did people choose to have them at all for like 2 good years? Like, no, God, no. Mm-mm. They're much better human beings than I will ever be because, like, I fake liking
Same.
kids all day,
Right.
and
See, and I don't have to like really fake it, because neither of my jobs really
mhm.
have children. Yes, they can come in and, there have been times with both jobs where it's like a kid will come in and you're just like, oh, good grief. Just like, get
Mhm.
that kid out of here. Yeah. Like nobody asked for this. What are you doing?
It's like
But
of all of them, there are some teenagers that I like more than the other ones that come into the library because I just tell
right.
them stuff. Like, don't date that girl. She's manipulating you. And let me tell you all the reasons why. And just and they'll be like, "Oh, I know." I was like, "No, you don't. You think you know, but you don't know."
But
And like, you
you
avoid these
don't know.
behaviors. And when this happens, you don't do this. Don't be a dick. And they kind of look at me like I'm nuts sometimes, but they also listen to me because I don't talk to them like they're children.
Right. You're not like
Other than I'm
"Mm,
like, your brain is
children.
broken, so it's not your fault that you can't do this, but you're gonna do this.
Teenage brain is a real disease. It really is. But
Mhm.
anyway, those are my judges,
Those
and
are
then
excellent judges.
my burned popcorn smell and other people's
Yeah,
children.
we are here to give you the important life lessons like fuck COVID. I'm done with that shit. Burn popcorn is a real problem. Throw away that expired popcorn.
Throw
It
away your
will burn
expired
down your
popcorn.
house.
Right.
And if you have children, you are responsible. Don't be dicks. Because then your children will be dicks and I'll have to yell at them in the future. And I'm tired of it.
Right.
Because I yell, I don't care. I tell people, no, just don't care anymore.
Anyway,
But there we
those are my
go.
judges.
Amazing. Well, this week's episode topic was haunted places near you or in your state or
Near it was haunted places near you.
I kind of
I take that as like in your state
yeah, I chose
is
kind
how
of
I
in my state. It
right.
was fun.
Same.
So, Claire, I believe it is your turn.
Submitted by our friend Christy
That's
Joe.
right, Christy Joe for the win.
She emailed in to brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
That's
And
right.
now her
You
topic's on the Wheel of Fate. And
you
here we
can
are.
do that too.
That's right. Email in, please.
Send us some topics.
That's right.
Because I wouldn't have thought of this. So
I wouldn't have either. Yeah.
And it was funsies. All right, Claire, you're going first this week, I believe.
I am.
What did you bring us?
Okay. Obvious choice for that some people probably would have thought would have been Waverly Hills, but I wanted to steer away from that a little bit
Oh,
and go
I was
with
sad.
something.
I was hopeful we could reminisce about our time running, screaming down the hallway like we were tiny children.
Right,
But
right.
it's fine.
I figure we might save that for like a different time.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
Maybe scariest shit on earth or whatever. Like when
Something
we all
like
ran
that. Yeah.
away like giant fucking babies.
The ball rolled all on its own. We're
Ghost
like,
child terrified us when we like 9 grown ass adults run screaming down the hallway. It's totally fine. We're fine.
That's fine. No, we're
Fine.
all good. So I'm gonna tell you this story. I found this random thing and I was like, what? So I'm going to tell you the story of Bobby Mackey's Music World nightclub.
Yay! Supposed to be
Have you
like
heard
super, super fucking haunted. Yeah,
have you heard
I
of this?
think it was
Okay.
the very first episode of one of the stupid ghost hunting shows. I don't remember which one.
And it was Travel Channel is where I got most of my stuff from. Wikipedia and Wide Open Country.
I've
Those
always
are
wanted to
my
go. I've heard
sources.
so many great things. Essentially, it's a portal to hell, which is obviously my favorite
Oh,
place to go. So let's go
there
for
are
it.
so many things. I was like, this is insane.
Yay! Okay,
But
good.
it was the Zach Baggins, whichever one he is it Ghost Adventures?
Bagans, bagel bites.
Yes. He's the one they did something on his show
God,
with
I
this.
love to torment. Like, I can't watch his stuff with a straight face. Most of the ghost hunting shows I love and they're
Right.
creepy and they're scary and I'm like, okay, yeah. But I'm just like, dude, tone down the overacting just a smidge.
Right. He's just a little much. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so Bobby Mackey's Music World. It is a nightclub and honky tonk in Wilder, Kentucky, which
Honky
is a little south of Cincinnati.
honk.
So it's not that far from Cincinnati. But owned by country singer Bobby Mackey.
Oh, really? I didn't realize there was
Yes.
I always wondered why it was called that. I don't.
Because it's his place.
Oh, I never knew that there was a country singer named Bobby Mackey, which
Me neither.
should shock no one because I don't know anybody that sings
Right.
at all ever.
And this place is billed as the most haunted nightclub in America.
Yes.
That's its claim to fame.
Kentucky for the win. No, I'm kidding.
That's right. Because we don't half-ass anything here. So before the club itself actually existed, there was a slaughterhouse that sat on the property in 1850s. And in the lowest part of the building, a well existed to hold all the blood and guts and waste from all the slaughtering that went on in said slaughterhouse from the animals.
Yummy.
Speculations like after the slaughterhouse closed in 1890s suggested that a satanic cult there I know.
It's never a satanic cult. Never ever, including Stranger Things. It's never a satanic cult, guys. Never.
Right. For Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons don't turn
Just
you into Satan.
Stop it.
Anyway. They suggested that a satanic cult held all their extracurricular activities in this abandoned slaughterhouse. And allegedly, animals and possibly humans were sacrificed in rituals in the slaughterhouse.
Again, so no, they weren't. But okay, sure. Why not?
Whatever. Anyway, so in 1896, a woman named Pearl Bryan, she was 22 years old from Greencastle, Indiana. Her body was discovered in a field near the slaughterhouse. They said like maybe 1 or 2 miles away. Corpse was headless. And come to find out, Pearl was pregnant out of wedlock.
How dare she?
I know you and I are like
dramatic gasp. She
right.
What?
Not that.
No.
And her boyfriend, Scott Jackson, wanted her to come to Cincinnati so he could arrange for her to have an abortion.
Hmm.
And he was a student at the Ohio College of Dental Surgery. So Scott got his roommate involved. His roommate's name was Alonzo Walling. And
Sure.
he got him they decided, I don't know what happened with the arranging of the abortion, but then they decided to do an at-home abortion. And so he got Alonzo to help him, and things
I
did
love it.
not go well, as you can imagine.
Well, you know, those at-home abortions, guys, they kill a lot of people, which is why we don't do them anymore. We
You don't
continue to
there are
fight the
no
patriarchy and say, fuck you, bring back our
right.
rights. But, you know.
DIY abortions are not recommended.
No, do not
So,
watch that YouTube video. Don't do it.
yeah, no. Mm-mm. So, this DIY abortion went south, and Pearl died, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate.
And so the two guys tried to cover their tracks, removed her head so the body couldn't be identified.
Oh
But
God. Why?
yeah, but apparently it said something about they left her shoes on. And so they were able to identify her based on her shoes. Like that's kind of what got them caught. And I was like, wait, I need to know more about this. What shoes were these?
like was her
what?
name engraved on her shoe or something? Like,
I know it didn't really expand on that, but it was like, but they left her shoes on, so they got caught. I'm like, wait, what? So that's
rookie
where I was
mistake. Like, you took the head,
right.
but you left the shoes.
I know. What is wrong with you people?
So,
Pearl's head was never found, and it was again speculated, allegedly, all that stuff, that Scott was in the satanic cult that practiced at this slaughterhouse.
Sure.
And the head was used in a ritual.
Well, I mean,
that's where people went with that.
You've got a head laying around, obviously.
That's
Satanic
right.
cult is the only option. There's no other option.
Right. That's where your brain always goes. And then Alonzo, he wound up being hung in the gallows, and before he died, he wound up like saying that he cursed the land and that he vowed to forever haunt the land that he died on.
I swear, no matter what takes me in the end, I'm going to say those words. I'm like, I curse you in this land and I'm going to haunt you forever. And they're going to be like,
right.
We're just trying to give you some morphine.
Calm down.
Keep your curses to yourself, man. Like, we don't want that. We don't need that
So,
negative energy here.
That's right. Oh, so the slaughterhouse was demolished in early 1900s and sat empty until the 1920s when a person opened a casino / nightclub and speakeasy during Prohibition.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Fight the power.
Yeah, right. And in 1933, Prohibition ended, and a man named Buck Brady bought and named the nightclub the Primrose. And it was open for about a decade before his business was noticed by, and here's where it got some discrepancies based on websites. One says the Cincinnati mob, another says the Chicago mob.
I feel like Cincinnati makes a bit more sense because it's like there. Right. Because my best guess is Chicago, which is a 6-hour drive a day. That they probably weren't super looking into random small town far from, I mean, not far, but not close to Cincinnati. But whatever. Right. Sure. The mob. Got it. The mob.
Yes. It was noticed by mobsters. And so I guess they wanted to buy the nightclub and then use it to funnel, their money through. So to wash their money. And so Buck Brady, he refused to sell to the mob. I know. And so then violence ensued. There was fighting in the parking lots and threats to customers who were leaving the nightclub. And then Buck had enough of all this nonsense. And so he drew a gun on a mobster named Albert Red Masterson and charged with attempted murder. And the one website didn't say anything else about him. Like he just kind of like,
and then he was done. That was it. He drew a gun.
It was just
got charged.
It was like he left the business. It just said he left the business in 1946. But then in another website, it was like the mob had him killed. So
I mean, I
I don't
feel
know.
like if he did draw a gun on somebody, then
Right.
probably he did not have a huge long lifespan after that. But what do I know?
Right. So he could have died. He could have just left. We don't know.
Hmm. He exited the story. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm gonna say though that he died because there have been like spottings of him as a ghost. So I'm gonna say that the mob killed him.
Well, I mean,
But
I don't know that you have to die at a specific place in order to haunt the place. I think you can just haunt a place you've been to. I mean,
that's
I'm
true.
going to haunt the Louvre because I've been there. And
Because you've been
like
there.
there'll be lots of people watching, but also lots of cool art. Like we've been there. I mean, it
It's
would take
true.
me thousands of lifetimes to see it all because they have all the secret store. Like I'd be like secret storage looking, be like, I'm a ghost. I can look at all
Right.
the stuff now.
Also, you get lost because it took us forever to find the exit.
Sortie.
Sortie. You're like, where is it? Oh my gosh. So anyway, in the 1950s, the building reopened as a nightclub called the Latin Quarter. This one was actually run by the mob. Um, hotspot for gambling and prostitution.
Hmm.
Shock, surprise.
I mean, not like
Right,
there's a lot else to do. Why not?
right. And so one of the dance hall girls, and it said she was also the daughter of one of the owners. Her name was Joanna. She fell in love with a singer named Robert Randall, and she got pregnant, and they were gonna elope. And her dad was like, no, we're not doing that." And so he used his criminal connections to put a hit on Robert Randall.
Good grief.
And yeah, right. And so then Joanna found out, poisoned her father, and then died by suicide in the basement of the building.
Well, so it
Yes,
was like a better ending to Romeo and Juliet, I guess.
I guess.
Everybody dies, including Daddy.
But everybody said that when Joanna would come in, she always wore this like rose smelling perfume.
But
Yeah,
sure.
rose is not my favorite. No, no.
And I
Nope, nope,
guess
nope.
they smell lots of rose perfume
Yeah,
now.
they do. They do.
So I don't want to go there.
Um,
I don't enjoy that smell.
right.
Mm.
In 1978, there were several fatal shootings at the nightclub that forced the closure, but later that same year, Bobby Mackey purchased the building and turned it into a music hall and tavern. And since then, some activities, alleged and speculative activities,
Hmm.
um, they say that the basement is the gate to hell.
See, I've heard that. I've heard the gate to
Yes.
hell is there somewhere. And I'm like, there, portal to hell or whatever. That's
It
hell.
yeah, exactly. That people who enter the basement report being maliciously pushed and pulled, and some of them have talked about being like almost like they're thrown down the steps.
Hate.
And when they're in the basement, there have been reports of seeing a demonic figure with glowing eyes.
Hmm.
That's when I nope right out. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
absolutely not. No,
yeah.
no, none of that.
I'm out. I'm tapping out.
No, no. We're not staying around for that. That's not fun.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I mean,
Demons ruin the party. I'm just saying.
all I'm saying is Ghost Kid playing with a ball made me run screaming down a hallway.
Right.
I'm not gonna make it through glowing demon eyes. Like
No. Mm-mm.
I'm my
Absolutely not.
threshold is much lower than that. Like I
Right.
can't do that, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like spooky
Um
noise. Spooky noise. People are like,
there's
literally, it's the shutter. Calm down. Calm down.
right. They said there are stairs near like where the old slaughterhouse well was, and that there's constantly phantom footsteps. Like nobody's there, but you can
Mm-hmm.
hear people walking up and down the stairs. A former caretaker says that he was possessed by spirits
Ugh.
and that a priest did the exorcism in the club.
In the club?
In the club,
Well, I guess you want whatever it is to go back to where it came from and not
I
linger.
guess.
I don't know. I don't know. That sounds awful. I don't like that. I don't like this, Claire.
I know, right? One of the patrons said that while they were there, they experienced suffocating heat.
I'm experiencing that
Witnessed
right now because,
right. A I know it's like, were you in
like,
Kentucky
I'm hot
in
right now.
July?
It's hot. Oh, yeah, you're in Kentucky, right?
In
Was it
July?
July?
Yeah.
Did you?
Right. What time of year was it?
It's like,
But, suffocating heat, they witnessed a flying trash can,
oh,
um, and there was a man with a handlebar mustache in the men's restroom saying, die game," like, over and over again, so I don't know if it
die
was somebody.
game,
Yes,
GAME. Well,
DIEGAME.
he obviously had been forced to play Monopoly for too long because that's how I
Obviously.
feel every time I have to play. I'm like, die game, I hate you. Like,
He
go
did
away.
not pass go and did not get to collect
Oh,
$200.
I hate that game. It's tedious.
Right. Oh, it's the worst. Bobby Mackey's wife said that she would be there and would be overcome by the smell of roses, which was like
Right?
Joanna's perfume. That she was like picked up and thrown down the stairs
No.
by like an unseen force. Yeah. And that she feels like she was bullied by some spirits, like being pushed and pulled, you know,
Okay,
but nobody's there.
here's the thing. Guys, life is hard enough. I mean, I got bullied. Claire got bullied. We're dealing with it as,
Right.
almost 40-year-olds at this point. We're still
Right.
dealing with our trauma. Like, it's shitty enough just going through life and being bullied. Like, fucking stop. Leave us
You're like,
alone.
after death,
Like,
like, quit.
stop.
Yeah.
Don't perpetuate that cycle. Just be chill. Maybe
Right.
be there to, help them if they fall down, or like help blow a cool breeze when they're sweating profusely from the heat and humidity of
Exactly.
Kentucky. Like, just
That's right.
be nice.
Don't be ghost dicks, okay?
Okay, that is the theme of this episode. Don't be a dick.
Be a dick.
Just don't. In life, in death, just don't be a dick.
Stop it.
God.
But anyway, so his wife, she refuses to go to the club anymore
Well, I
because
don't blame her.
too much stuff had happened to her, and I think she's just like, no, I'm
I'd be
done.
like,
We're
bitch,
done.
please, I'm out now.
Right.
You can go. It's fine.
Historic photos of Pearl Bryan match descriptions of a headless ghost dressed in turn of the century clothing.
I'm sorry.
That's what it said.
If she's a headless ghost,
It's the clothes. It's the clothes.
it's not
is
the
what
Claire.
I'm reading.
It's obviously the shoes.
It's the shoes.
It's gotta be the shoes. Because otherwise, it's stupid. Clothes are just It's just clothes. Stop it. Stop it.
Just reporting what I've read. Okay.
All right.
Photos of the previous owner, Buck Brady, match descriptions of one of the ghosts that are most often seen on the premises. So, but hotspots in the building are the spot booth and the catwalk over the stage, the basement.
I'm sorry.
Obviously. What?
There's no way in hell that I'm going to go on a catwalk in a building that's haunted, because, like, they're just gonna push you off. Like, no.
That's like some Phantom of the Opera bullshit right there,
like,
and it's like, no.
The Punjab lasso is coming at me. It's like, absolutely not. No.
That's
It's like,
exactly
I saw
right.
this show.
You're like, yeah, no.
Keep your hand at the level of your eyes.
I
Level
know.
of your eyes.
That's right. Keep your hand at the level of your eyes. Yes. Okay. Let's see. The basement, obviously, because that's where all the satanic stuff happens.
Well, that's where the portal to the gate to hell is.
Hell is, yeah. A platform area near the kitchen, and guests also said that they see ghosts in a mirror in the main room. So it's like you look up and there's somebody behind you, but then there's not. And you're like,
I don't like that.
No, me neither.
Like
None of that. And one of the club managers would talk about how they would turn off everything, double check all the stuff, lock up, come back later.
Everything's all messed
lights
up.
would be lights would be on, doors would be unlocked, and the jukebox would be playing the anniversary waltz, even though the jukebox was unplugged and that song is not offered on the jukebox.
No, I'd be burning that building down and be like, oh hell no. Oh hell no.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, no.
Yes. And that's the story of Bobby Mackey's Music World,
Holy hell. I
Nightclub, and
swear to
Tavern.
God, the next time we're going there, we're going to scare the shit out of each other because it's what we
Oh,
do.
no.
We're giant chickens. Like,
We're
we love it,
wusses.
but like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to watch lots of stupid TV before I go to bed tonight because this is gonna fuck me up.
100. Even like last night when I was working on this, I was just like, what was that noise?
Well, I was
Why
literally
is the dog barking? What the fuck is she barking at?
right.
You know, like she would just start barking at nothing.
Oh,
And I'm just
God.
like, somebody's in the house. That's always where my mind goes.
Yeah,
Somebody's in the
same.
house.
But like,
You know?
I worked on mine while watching the regular show, which is nonsense. It's complete, total, utter nonsense,
Oh
and I
yeah.
love it. And I'm gonna have to watch several episodes. And before we started, I was watching Modern Family, also safe. So
Right.
you know,
Right.
that's where we're gonna go. Lights might be left on tonight. And here's the thing, I'm telling you now because I don't know what time these lights are gonna just magically turn off because I can't figure it out in my app. So I'm gonna scream like a little girl when it happens.
She's just like, just to forewarn you.
Just
It's
because,
gonna
like,
happen.
I thought it happened at 9, but it didn't. But now it's 10. I'm like, maybe it happens at 10. I don't know,
We don't know.
but I can't figure it out.
But yes, so that is the story of Bobby Mackey's Nightclub.
That is excellent. We're definitely gonna go sometime.
Like I had kind of heard of it before, but then I was like, wait, what? I'm like reading all this about the slaughterhouse and Satanic Panic before Satanic Panic was a thing, and I was just like, well,
I feel like it's
we're
just
gonna
like
talk
a
about this.
history of let's blame satanic cults. I'm not sure where
Right.
it comes from. Is it just like a carryover from like the paganism of
I'm sure it is.
yore that for all time is like what's those pagans doing there, whatever. But then you know
Right.
Satan because it's in your vernacular. Like, well, it must be Satan because it can't possibly be any other thing other than the
Right.
exact opposite of what we like. I'm like, okay, it's fine,
Right.
whatever.
But
Well, that was excellent. There are no satanic cults in my story, so
oh, I'm sorry.
it's fine. Was much happier with that because
Right. And this place is only about like, and it is near me. It's like a
Mhm.
couple hours away, so it's not like it's like on the other side of the state by any means. So
right, yeah. I mean, it's
anyway,
because I've always thought, why haven't I gone? Just
right.
haven't.
Yeah.
So we'll
It's
go.
like,
We'll
I
do
mean,
it.
because you think in your head, you're like, why would I go to Wilder, Kentucky? I
Right.
mean, that's one of those things. It's like,
It's like I see it on the
what's
sign
there?
and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
Wow.
It's like, why go to Bat Cave, North Carolina?
To the
Like
Bat Cave.
you drive past it all the time, but
Uh-huh.
you're like, I've never been there.
Well, I
Well,
have
what story have you
brought
brought us today?
the story of Starvation Heights. Da-na-na-na-na.
Starvation Heights? That sounds
Starvation
very
Heights.
ominous.
So there is a tiny town in Washington, in the Olympic Peninsula. So the little piece that
Okay.
juts out or whatever. Called Olalla. Olalla, Washington.
Olalla.
Olalla. Olalla.
Okay. It
It's
reminds me of like
a tiny
Gullah
town.
Gullah Island.
It reminds you of what?
Gullah Gullah Island.
Gullah Island. Gullah Gullah.
I know.
Wow, that's a flashback.
That is. We're not dating ourselves at all.
No, we're not old. Okay. So I will tell you that I got my information from the Smithsonian magazine. Something called the Kitsap Sun. I have no idea. I think it's a newspaper, but I couldn't quite tell.
Kit or cap? Kitsap.
K-I-T.
For a second, I thought you said Kit Kat. I was like, what?
S-A-P. Kitsap.
Kitsap Sun.
Kitsap
Okay.
Sun.
Okay. Kitsap. Okay.
Also, Washington Haunted Houses.
Nice.
WeirdUS.com.
Yes.
And of course, Wikipedia, because where
Always.
is life without a good Wikipedia to kind of,
right.
give you those details you need. So
if it's not on Wikipedia, it's not real. That's really what
yes, sure, right. Oh,
I'm
you're
kidding.
not on Wikipedia? Well then, all right.
You're fake.
Fake news.
That's right. Alternative facts.
All right, so my story starts with some nice true crime. Yay!
Nice.
So, 1910. Front page news on international newspapers across the world was an infamous murder trial of Dr. Linda Hazard.
What year was this?
1910.
Woman doctor. That's very progressive.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay. It's starting to storm here. I hear
Ooh.
thunder. I hear thunder. I'm like, what is that noise?
Like, what the fuck is that?
I know. Like, why do we always talk about the creepy stuff late at
I
night?
know. Well, and I was just thinking about that. It's like it's another nighttime episode, guys, and we're like, God
Yeah,
damn
right.
it! Why is it always? We
Why are we
try.
talking about haunted places at night?
I
Stop it.
can't get away from it. It just seems to happen
I
that way.
know. It's true.
Ugh. So when my lights go out, I'm gonna scream because all the
Yes.
lights in the house will go out at the same time, and I don't know what time that is. Anyway, surprise! Dr. Linda Hazard. She was licensed.
Oh, that kind of license.
Well, she was.
Air
It was a
license.
license. She was licensed by the state of Washington as a, now this is air quotes, fasting specialist.
Fasting.
No,
Okay.
my hands don't make sense to me. Fasting specialist.
Gotcha.
Though she had little formal training and no medical degree, because women can't be doctors, Claire. It's 1910.
Ah, there we go.
There it is.
There's that caveat. There we go.
Is it dimming? I think it's dimming on me. Stop it! Stop it!
Oh, it got brighter.
I turned it up. I'm like, don't dim on me. It scared me. Don't. Because I'm watching like the dials move on the phone. It's creeping me the shit out. Because it's 10 o'clock and so I was trying to adjust and I'm like, turn out the lights back on. You're creeping me out, man. Stop it.
No. Okay.
I just want to turn on a light switch. That's all I want. Spencer has set up our house so that everything is on your phone. I'm like, ah.
You're like, why do you have to make life so complicated?
You know, I'm going to turn on my moon lamp so that when all the lights go out, I'll at least have it.
There you go.
It'll be green and spooky, but it's fine. Okay. So, again, no, not a real doctor.
Gotcha.
She believed that the root of all disease was in food, specifically having too much of it.
I mean, was she like one of those like 7 deadly sins people because it's like gluttony?
No. In her,
I'm just
in
curious.
1908, she published a book, and when I say published, she self-published a book, which, 1908, called Fasting for the Cure of Disease. So she went straight to the point in her title.
Right.
But in it,
there was no beating around the bush.
No. She's like, this is the point of the book.
Right.
In it, she wrote, appetite is craving. Hunger is desire. Desire is never satisfied, but desire is relieved when want is supplied. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means, but I was just like, I'm going to throw this in.
This sounds very sexual.
Desire
I'm not even gonna,
is relieved when want is supplied. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like you want to eat, so you eat, and then you feel better. I don't know. But you actually feel worse. I don't know. But she said the way to true health was to periodically let the digestive system rest through near total fasts for days or longer.
I mean,
so she appealed to people. People were like here for this, and so during these times, when she had patients, her patients would consume just very small amounts of like vegetable broth, and that was it. Like just a little bit here, a little bit there. They were having their systems flushed daily with enemas. And they had vigorous massages to stimulate their, I don't know. But the
I mean, it's probably
nurses,
like to stimulate blood flow or something,
sure,
I'm
but the
sure, you
nurses
know?
said they were less vigorous massages than like beatings. So like hell
What?
bells, hell's bells.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, right.
let's see. But even with those insane those insane methods
Yeah.
there, people kept coming in droves because people be crazy.
People do
Uh,
be crazy.
for example, a woman named Maud Hagland, who was a Norwegian immigrant, died after 50 days of fasting while in Hazard's care.
Why would you fast for 50 days? That just seems excessive.
I mean, I agree.
I
But
mean, that's at that point, I feel like that's not even
no,
fasting.
that's.
That's starving.
Oh, hey,
That's
remember
like
the name of my story? Starvation
ah,
Heights.
gotcha.
Dun, dun,
Okay.
dun. Um,
I'm just saying that almost feels like that's some kind of form of torture.
right.
You're like, "Oh, we're gonna call it fasting," but
I'm
no.
here for that. Basically, because this is what it feels like to me. Um,
Right.
you may have heard of this pair of British sisters, Claire and
Yay.
Dorothea Williamson. Um, they also were intrigued by Hazard's theories and methods and came across an ad for her book while they were in a hotel in Victoria. They were British sisters orphaned from like their father had died, and I guess he was all that was left. But
Mhm.
they were quite wealthy. And after they saw the ad in the newspaper, they bought her book and were like, "Oh yeah, this seems real. We'll do this."
Right.
And
This
although
seems legit.
and although they didn't have like major health issues, they had like swollen problems with swollen glands, which Lord, my lymph nodes are always swollen these days.
Mhm.
Rheumatic pains, and Claire apparently had been told by some doctor somewhere along the way that she had a dropped uterus, which I find perplexing
Okay.
because they were in their early 30s. And I don't think you have dropped uteruses in your early 30s if you're not
Right.
because it's mostly after childbirth. And I don't know, maybe
Right.
not before
Yeah.
that. But the
I feel like it's
sisters,
also like things when you like if you have surgery and stuff like
right.
that too. Like,
But like, I
yeah.
can't come up with anything that well-to-do 30-year-olds in the early 1900s could have done to have
Right. Right.
dropped their uterus. It's called prolapsed uterus these days because
Mhm.
progress.
Right.
But so the sisters were already kind of into quote unquote new age medicine.
Mhm.
So they had already given up meat, which I'm here for. Good job. But they also gave up corsets because corsets were bad. I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
right. They were bad. You're absolutely correct on that. It's getting darker. Stop it. I don't understand. Like it's got all these things said in it and it confuses me and I don't understand. Thank you. They're not my apps. I just currently have access to them. Sometimes I accidentally lock myself out, so there's that. Ah. So in 1911, they get to Seattle and Hazard meets them there. Um, she tells them that her sanitarium, I think it's a sanitarium, in Olalla isn't quite ready yet. It's still being built, finishing touches, yada yada. So she gets them set up
Mhm.
in an apartment in Seattle, but Hazard goes ahead and starts treatment with them.
Okay.
So this treatment consists of 1 cup of broth made from
Mhm.
canned tomatoes 2 times a
Ew.
day. It's only
Ugh.
2 cups of, I don't know, like really bad tomato soup.
Tomato juice. Yum.
Hours
Yuck.
long enemas in the bathtub,
Ew.
which
No.
the bathtubs had to be covered in canvas supports because they started to faint during their treatments. Like, I don't think I've ever had an enema, at least not in my
Mm,
knowledge. If I have, I've
mm,
absolutely blocked it out.
right.
But like hours long, no, I'd pass out too.
No.
Uh, By the time Olala was ready and they were finally transferred there, they both only weighed about 70 pounds each.
What? Oh my gosh.
Now, they didn't
Dang.
tell anyone that they were pursuing this treatment because their family was pretty critical of some of the things that they had done in the past. And so they didn't share
Right.
the knowledge. And so they didn't know, but they did send a telegram to their childhood nurse, who I guess still was in contact with them and I guess sometimes spent time with them. But her name
Right.
was Margaret. She was in Australia visiting her family. And so she gets this weird telegram that I couldn't find anywhere, which made me sad, that just was nonsensical. And so
Yeah.
it made her go, the hell? And she
Yeah.
decided to go seek them out because she knew where they were.
Yeah.
So that's a nice long trip because it's 1911. So it took her a while.
I know. It's like months.
So by the time that Margaret gets there, she is met in Vancouver. I guess she must have gone. I can't decide if it's Vancouver, Canada, which is what I'm assuming it was, or Vancouver, Oregon, or Vancouver, Washington. I mean, because it's at the bottom, so somewhere in Vancouver. She is.
So it just said Vancouver.
It
It
just
didn't
says
like
Vancouver. So my
specify.
assumption is that it must mean the huge city of Vancouver in Canada, and not the Vancouver that's more of a suburb of Portland. I
Gotcha.
don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Just it was a guess. I don't know. But Vancouver, she's met by Linda Hazard's husband. His name is Samuel. Here's a fun aside about Samuel, just for kicks.
Okay.
He ended up serving time in jail for bigamy after he married Linda. So he was already married when he married her.
What?
I know.
He sounds like a gem.
It's going great. It's going
It's
great.
fine.
But
You got
so
a bigamist and then you got like a crazy woman. This is
right.
great.
So they are on a bus from Vancouver to Seattle and then Seattle to Olala. So on the bus, Samuel tells Margaret, oh, by the way, Claire died.
No, stop. Just casual conversation.
I mean, I wasn't there, but it feels like that to me.
How's the weather? The weather has been kind of rainy. Oh, and Claire died. Your friend.
And
it's fine.
what Samuel says to her is that when Claire was a child, at some point she was given medicine that caused her organs to shrink and caused cirrhosis in her liver to start. And that is what killed her, not Linda's quote unquote beautiful treatment. Quote, 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 quote.
Seems suspicious, just saying.
Well,
it's all a little sus.
It's a little sus.
Yeah, indeed.
But now Margaret was no fool. I mean, she's not super well trained or anything, but like she
reads.
She's taken care of children and people, so she's like,
yeah,
I don't think that's a thing.
She's like, I don't think that's how this works. That's not no.
But so Samuel takes her to see Claire's body at the mortuary, blah blah blah. And here's the thing. So Margaret's looking at this body and is like, oh, this doesn't look right. Her hands look different. The shape of her face is different. Her hair color is different. So she's like, what the hell? She's like, I don't know what's happening.
Right.
But so she's like, finally they let Margaret see Dora, Claire's sister, when they get to Olala. And at this point, when Margaret sees Dora only weighs 50 pounds.
Holy shit.
So her bones are protruding so sharply that it actually causes Dora Payne to just sit. Because and I'm like, oh my God. But Dora wouldn't leave. Like she wouldn't leave Olala.
So they weren't like forcing her to stay, right?
No.
Okay. So she was there Of her own free will.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like, what do you do in that situation? Like, if you're a friend,
Yeah.
are you like, eh?
Well, and so it gets worse. So it turns out that Linda, quote unquote, Dr. Linda,
Uh-huh.
had been appointed executor of Claire's considerable estate and
Oh
guardian
no.
of Dora.
Oh
So Dora
no.
had signed over power of attorney to Samuel. Like, so
No. Why would you do that? No.
and
This seems
yeah, I know.
terrible.
In the meantime, the Hazards, Linda and Samuel, took, some of Claire's clothing, household goods, and jewels that were valued at $6,000 back then, which in today money is $185,000 worth of jewels.
Holy crap.
And at one of the conversations that Margaret had with Linda, Linda was wearing one of Claire's dresses. Like, that's so sick.
That's so disgusting. I'm sorry.
So
Nope.
Margaret, I
That's
know. I was
not
just like, there it is. And it's going to happen. What time is it? 10:15.
Yes.
I was like, what time does this happen?
I was like, it's 1:15.
It's 10:15. All right. It's fine. It may still do it again because he's got all these like extra back things.
He's got all his backup apps.
I know. Scared as shit. Well, because so we have lights set to turn off at dusk or like to dim at dusk.
Yeah.
But then there's also a second command to have them dim at 9:00. And right now it's almost the exact same time. So by the time we get the lights to come back on, they turn right back off again. I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
I scream.
You're like, no.
Anyway, back to this nightmare. So
Yes.
Margaret is excellent. She tries to stand up to Linda, but she's like a servant, really. Like, that's she's not a family member. She doesn't feel like she can really stand up to Linda. Especially since Linda was known for her persuasion and her intimidation of people. In fact, this is my favorite. So she has an interest in spiritualism, because a lot of her ideology of fasting comes out of a spiritual place, from certain writings and teachings. But she also seemed to have an interest in the occult, according to some people. And
Satan, it's always Satan.
It's always Satan. And they believed that her interest and her dabbling in, satanic cults, obviously, had given her special powers so that she could hypnotize people into starving themselves to death. And I was like, of all the powers that someone can bestow upon you, that one seems
lame,
right? It's like, you have the power to hypnotize people, and you're like, oh, and it's like, to starve to death. You're like, all right, whatever, it's fine.
That's super lame, is what that is.
So Margaret seeks out one of their family members, one of their uncles named John Herbert, and is like, you gotta hear the shit that's happening. Bad shit, bad. And so he is able to, quote unquote, free Dora from the Hazards by paying them $1,000.
No, why?
They're just trying to get Dora out because she is,
like, at that point they don't care. They're just like, we've got to get her out of here or she's gonna die.
Like, I've not been 50 pounds since I was probably 4. So, like, dude, yeesh. But so he, of course, after he gets Dora out, gets the British consul involved because they're British citizens.
Okay.
And so that investigation turns up several deaths of wealthy individuals, many of which had also signed over portions of their estates to Linda before their death. It included former state legislator Louis E. Rader, who owned the property on which her sanitarium was built.
Well,
convenient.
It's extremely convenient.
It also included John Ivan Flux, who came to America to buy a ranch before coming to Olalla. and somehow managed to die with only $70 in his pocket, which is only like $2,000. That's not enough to buy a ranch. So,
Right. No.
Another man, Eugene Wakelin, shot himself, quotes,
Yeah.
under her
Did he
care
though?
after appointing her administrator of his estates and draining it of funds.
Of course.
So then there is Earl Edward Erdman, who very kindly kept diary entries. So on
Yes.
March 28th, 1910, Earl was a civil engineer for Seattle, died of starvation, but he had kept a diary of the treatment that Linda had done for him. So February 1st.
Good for him for writing it down.
So that was March 28th that he died. So we're going back to February 1st. He saw Dr. Hazard and began his treatment. No breakfast.
So he's really only been there for like 2 months.
Right. And so he basically just keeps what he's given for food or whatever. So February 1st, he had no breakfast, mashed soup dinner, mashed soup supper. His dinner's lunch, by the way.
Yes.
February 5th through the 7th, 1 orange breakfast, mashed soup dinner, mashed soup supper. February 8th, 1 orange breakfast, mashed soup dinner, mashed soup supper. You getting the sense here?
Yes. Yeah.
February 9th through 11th, 1 orange breakfast, strained soup dinner, strained soup supper. So now it's just like the liquid.
Ew.
February 12th, 1 orange for breakfast, 1 orange for dinner, 1 orange for supper.
Okay.
February 13th, 2 orange for breakfast, no dinner, no supper.
No.
February 14th, 1 cup of strained tomato broth at 6 p.m. Happy
Seems
Valentine's
like a miserable existence.
February 15th,
like,
1 cup hot strained tomato soup night and morning. The 16th, tomato soup in the morning. He slept better that night, but his head felt dizzy and his eyes were streaked with yellow and red. On the 17th,
I wonder why.
On the 17th, he had 3 oranges. On the 19th, someone called on him at his house and he slept. On the 20th, he had the juice of 2 oranges at 10 a.m., was dizzy all day, shock, and then had juice from 2 more oranges at 5. 2 cups of orange juice, like, dude.
I know, this sounds like meh.
February 21st, had 1 cup of strained tomato broth and a backache today just below his ribs. Can't imagine why.
It's because your body is not getting your nutrients and you're losing weight. And I can't support your organs.
On the 23rd, he slept but little last night.
But little.
2 oranges at 9 a.m. Went after milk and felt very bad. I don't know what that means. And then 2 oranges at night.
Went after milk?
That's what it said. The 24th, he had a frontal headache, had 2 small oranges, 1.5 cups of tomato soup. His heart hit up to 95 beats a minute and was sweating considerably. And I'm like, dude, my heart's always that fast, but you do you, bud.
Right.
Like, bitch, please.
You're like, come on.
And then it's like 1.5 cups of tomato broth, more pain, not sleeping well, pain in his right side. You know, it's just this tiny. Let's see. The diet continued more or less unchanged until his hospitalization on March 28th. He died that afternoon. At least a dozen people died in the care of Dr. Linda Hazard, though some sources claim that it's significantly higher.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that, you know, that just,
So
she's good at being sneaky, it sounds like.
She gets arrested August 15th, 1911. She's arrested on first-degree murder of Claire, and the trial started January of 1912. So they had lots of witnesses, servants, nurses, testifying that the sisters were crying out after their treatments because they suffered enemas that would last for hours.
Right.
And then they also were put into scalding hot baths. And I'm like, why?
No.
Why? Then they discovered from these witnesses that there was, or from things that the police had found, that there were a lot of forged checks, forged letters, and other fraud in order to get all the money out of the Williamson estate that they could. And rumor has it that the Hazards worked in league with the mortuary to switch bodies so that there were healthier looking bodies whenever people would come to claim their dead relative.
Shady.
Because
So shady.
You remember Margaret was like, this doesn't look right. That's not her face. That's not her hands. That's not her hair color.
Right. Yeah.
And that the bodies themselves were incinerated on the property in order to cover up the true state of the body. Because I mean, they're starved to nothing.
I mean, when you weigh 50 pounds,
there's nothing.
That's literally just your skeleton at that point. You're just, right. It's like, no. I mean, at your point, I think like your organs just pretty much don't exist anymore.
Nothing exists. You're just bones protruding out of your skin. It's gross. Gross. So Linda never took any responsibility for the deaths. She claimed that the death in the fast, like when you're fasting, never results from the deprivation of food, but is the inevitable consequence of the vitality sapped to the last degree by organic imperfection. So basically, there's something already wrong with you you're going to die from. It's not fasting.
That's like a cop-out, I feel like.
I'm with you. But
because it's like everybody's going to die eventually.
Luckily, the jury didn't agree.
Something wrong with you.
She was found guilty of manslaughter, and she was sentenced to hard labor in Walla Walla, and her quote-unquote license was revoked. Now, she spent the next couple of years fasting while she was in prison to prove the value of her regiment. And then for some reason, the governor of Washington pardoned her.
What?
I don't really know. There's no real explanation. And they didn't give her back her license, thank God, but whatever.
Well, obviously.
But so she moved to New Zealand to be near her supporters, but she came back in 1920 to build a new sanitarium, the one of her dreams.
Oh boy.
That she called a school for health. But
that needs to be an air quote,
right?
School for health, my ass.
But in 1935, it burned to the ground. Can't imagine why. Maybe they popped expired popcorn or something.
That's exactly what they did.
And then 3 years after that, Linda fell ill. And so she started fasting in order to treat her illness, because that's what she believed. And she died.
Well.
So there's that. So now we're going to talk about the hauntings, because like this is like a weird middle of nowhere kind of place. And the name of her sanitarium was actually like Wilderness Heights, but everyone in the town, like even like in the time, and this is huge news apparently, like they all referred to it as Starvation Heights. So that's where it gets its name.
Interesting.
So the home that Linda and Samuel lived in is believed to be haunted. There is a mysterious fireplace. I sent you a picture of. I think it's that fireplace that apparently has weird symbols on it that some believe is the 7th gate of hell. I don't know why 7th, but you know. So
maybe there's
one in Bobby Mackey's, and then
it's like in Clue, how you can go from there's like a secret passage from one room to the next.
Do you think
so? You can go from secret passage from Bobby Mackey's to.
I was gonna say, if you go through the fireplace, I love it.
That's right. You will wind up in the basement of Bobby Mackey's.
So the owners of the house have talked about how they will show the fireplace to visitors without telling them anything about it or the history or like the house or anything. And visitors have weird reactions to it. There was a woman that they were showing her just the fireplace, because it's an interesting fireplace, I guess. And she suddenly is like clutching the cross that she's wearing around her neck. And he's like, I've not even
Uh-oh.
told her that this place is haunted or anything, but okay.
Oh, snap.
I know, right? There are footsteps that are heard on the porch outside. And anytime anyone goes out to look, there's nothing there.
Right,
And
always.
there's bumps in the night and in the day for that matter.
Ooh.
They hear footsteps on the stairs and they get weird cold feelings when it's really warm and there's no drafts. And I'm over here going, it's never really warm, guys. We're in Washington. And they're in the Olympic Peninsula. So it's really not warm there
Really
that
cold.
much.
Now, if that was happening in Bobby
Well,
Mackey's,
then
that'd
I'm
be
like,
something.
guys, it's just
Because it's like,
July
especially
in
in July.
Kentucky. Calm. You need to
Right.
calm down.
Right.
And then there's this thing in the house that they call the hole. It's this weird.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Ah.
It's a weird closet in the basement because, there's obviously a satanic cult that met in the basement. So they had a they had
Always,
to have a
yeah.
closet for their stuff. But anyway,
You're
it's a
right.
weird like closet in the basement that has a slit in the door that is big enough to slide food into. And so they theorize that they would
No.
put patients in there to punish them. And I'm like,
Oh, that's mean.
okay.
Right. You're like, no.
Okay. So now I'm gonna read you some firsthand things of hauntings.
Okay. Yay.
I live
Some
in
firsthand.
Olala, really close to Starvation Heights. Every night, or if I'm home alone, I'll hear what sounds like screams scratching on the outside walls
What?
of all the houses. Like it's not just like specifically their house. Footsteps outside the house, and I've seen figures walking around in the yard or at the sides of the road while driving at night. I'm like, fuck that. Mm-mm.
No, absolutely nope. Just peace out of that town. No, thank you.
So the family that lived like whether it's their house or there's like a house next door, it's kind of there's literally like nothing there. There's basically a tiny little like grocery store and there's like a boat dock and then just like a handful of houses. Nothing.
Right.
The family that lived there experienced some ghostly phenomena over the years. On one occasion, the woman who lived in the house was in the kitchen cooking dinner. She was facing the stove, which was against one wall, and the bathroom door was behind her. She moved back and forth between a counter on her left and the stove for several minutes. When she turned around, she saw that every chair in the kitchen and a few from the room next door had been piled up against the bathroom door. And if you didn't burn the house down immediately, what the fuck are you even doing? Like, hell's no.
Absolutely. Burn it to the ground.
The woman
Yes,
had been
100%.
alone in the house at the time, and it's doubtful that someone else would have taken the time to sneak in and silently pile all the chairs up against the door while she was making dinner.
Like, no, that's not no. That's crazy. And this is just in the town? This isn't even like
Yeah, it's confusing because like there's nothing left of the sanitarium as because there's one picture. It's like a couple story building maybe, and it's the only picture of the sanitarium. The other picture is theoretically the house that they lived in, which was probably like real like next door or something. I don't know. In the attic are several low ledges where the family stored small items. And a psychic once said she saw the spirits of many of Hazard's victims sitting on the ledges, too afraid to move, even in death. The psychic burst into tears several times over the anguish that she felt saturated within the walls of the little house. So, like,
wow.
It's the whole, depending on, I mean, the reality is, yes, people died there. Yes, people were starved to death there. And they maybe came there willingly, but it seemed like maybe they got, as they get weaker, you don't really have a whole lot of wherewithal. I mean,
right.
So I don't know. But I mean, so obviously there was a lot of death there. And if the rumor is true, their bodies were incinerated there and they had like body doubles to bury. So like if you're gonna be upset and be a ghost and haunt somewhere, that seems like a good reason.
Right.
So,
like you were tricked into signing over all your money to these people, and they sound like very manipulative, narcissistic.
Yes, they do. They
people,
sound
both of
like
them.
assholes. They sound like giant dicks. And Claire, what is the
Dicks.
lesson of this episode?
Don't be a dick.
Thank you.
Just stop. Stop it.
So that is the story of Starvation Heights here in Washington.
That's nuts.
I know.
I've never heard of
I had
that.
heard the story of the sisters, like in a lot more detail than what I gave, because
Right.
and their slow starvation or whatever. I don't know that I had connected it to a big thing. Like, I thought it was like a weird one-off, like just one person taking advantage of them, but it's like all these other people died too. And I'm like, oh god.
And like, oh, they did this multiple times.
Yes.
This was their this was their scam. That's what that was.
And here's the thing. It's like, it's a scam. But I think Samuel 100% it was a scam, but Linda truly believed in her bananas batshit stuff to the point that she killed herself in the process of using it. And I'm like, all right. I'm not a fan of the whole intermittent fasting craze that is gripping the world or whatever. I don't understand the concept of fasting other than you have to fast 24 hours before a procedure. Cool, fine, got it.
Right.
It's like, otherwise, like, guys, just so.
Well, that was an excellent story.
Yes, and I will not be going to Alala at night, or maybe even during the day.
No,
because I think I might actually choose Satanic cult over like all sorts of people who died horrific deaths, like slow, miserable deaths, and like the enema thing. Just I'm like, I don't completely understand enemas, but isn't that when it's like pump a bunch of water up your ass to make you clean it out or whatever? Like, that sounds bad. I don't want that.
Flush out your system. But why would you need to do that for hours and hours and hours?
Well, and why would you do it every day, especially when you're just like drinking some broth and maybe eating an orange? Like there's nothing to flush out, guys. It doesn't make sense.
I feel like at that point, like once you get all the like at that point you're just peeing. Like what else are you? I mean, you have nothing solid.
There's nothing to come out.
Rid your body of. Yeah.
Well.
Indeed. Well, that was an excellent story.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that.
The fun things you learn.
Thank you, Christy Joe, for the suggestion.
Thank you. I never would have found it.
Should we leave that one on the...
Yes, because I had a couple of other options.
Exactly. Yeah, I did too, obviously.
So we'll hold on to
I was like, maybe we should leave that one on and try see if it comes up again.
I know, right? All right. Well, I guess that means it must be time for...
Tarot time with April.
A spooky.
It is.
Damn, it is a spooky.
I know. It's like, it's dark and I want to go home.
It's dark. I want to go home. Spencer's not here, so I have only myself and the cats to terrify me all night.
Right.
And they will. All right.
It's like the dog, waking me up.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because
again,
it's scared. It's scared of storms, and it's storming right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I woke up Wednesday night at 4 a.m, having had. Okay, so here's the thing. I had a touch, and I don't know if this is real, but if it is real, I had in my head, I had a touch of food poisoning. Wednesday night, Thursday morning. I had my own enema-like experiences. As I woke up at 4 a.m. and I went pretty immediately to the bathroom. I was like, I gotta go. Everything hurts. This is bad. What's happening to me?
Right.
But I'd had a nightmare that had been possessed by a demon. And I'm like, my body was trying to wake me up so I wouldn't.
No.
I think. I don't know. So I guess thank you. But also that's stuck in my head now.
But also you're like, no.
So,
yikes.
So too much information about April, but there you go. It was a rough night, but I still went to work because literally no one else did.
Right.
It's like, it wasn't COVID, so it must be fine.
That's right.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Tell me when to stop. Shuffling in the dark with the ghosties, but not satanic cults because they're not real. Unless you're Teal Swan and you think they're real for your show.
Stop.
Do you enjoy my song?
I did. That was excellent.
Thank you.
I think we need to like put that one out there.
Ooh.
Like,
That sounds like fun. I'll do that. I made it up on the spot. You're welcome.
that's right. We need to expand on that and market that.
Hmm.
Copyright that before somebody steals it.
All right. Are we ready for our week?
Yes.
It starts with the Ace of Cups.
Ace of Cups.
It's dark, so it's hard to see.
Right.
Then our midweek will be the, can't count, that's 8. The 8 of Swords.
Oh, swords. Why are
I
there
mean,
so
it
many
seems
swords?
accurate because my weeks all suck these days. But we will end the week with, the Ace of Wands.
Ooh.
It's a lot of ace happening here, man.
I
Like,
know.
what? You what? Fancy.
Cups and wands.
Cups and Wands. Do do do. All right. So aces.
I don't think we've not had. Oh, we've had Ace of Cups way back when we did Spooky.
Well, that just feels on trend then, doesn't it? Since we just had our
Right.
own spooky night.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So aces are the very core of what the suits are. Interesting.
Okay.
They are the nucleus of each suit, the brain of the swords, the heart of the cups, the backbone of wands, and the root of pentacles. Cool. The ace cards represent the pure, undiluted core of what that suit encompasses. So, if I remember correctly, cups is a lot of emotion, so that sucks for us.
Nah.
But I don't know. Maybe it'll be fine.
What emotions?
The essence of emotion. I was right. Look at me. I remembered things.
You are.
Essentially, the heart of the tarot. Oh, actually, this is nice. The cup is literally overflowing with bounty and blessings.
Finally.
The cup is a magical tool. The first chalice was a cupped hand, remember? Oh, that's true. The chalice represents the womb of the goddess in magical practices. Similar to the Christian blood of Christ, this represents the bounty and promise of the goddess filling us with whatever liquid lies within. We bring this blessing into ourselves and our thirst is sated. The important thing is to take it and drink it. This is about new beginnings, a new love, a new job, new butterflies in your stomach because she totally flirted with you. And the hope and excitement is completely overwhelming and makes your brain grin. This is about potential, grabbing onto hope with both hands, and letting yourself bathe in the good vibes and positive emotional energy. I like it. Good vibes, overflowing, hope.
That's right.
These are good things, which means it can't be good next ones. Which means that
anything with swords always is like, ow. That's not good.
That swords are going to kick our ass. Oh, the 8s are an interesting bunch.
Okay.
One, let's see. So pentacles are talking about hard work and investing in yourself for a better future, and wands are similar, telling you to choose the best path and pour yourself into it. Oh, all right then. 8 of Swords. Tell me more. Okay, just so you know, that is a cat that seems to be surrounded by swords. Maybe like barred by swords in jail is the picture, which you can't see.
Okay.
This woman is surrounded by swords. If she is careful and if she can conquer her fear, she can walk right out of that cage. She will likely be cut and bleeding when she's out, but she'll finally be free and it'll be worth it. The fear is the thing. It's all-consuming and paralytic. This card is about being trapped by your own anxiety and allowing anxiety to direct your life. It's a pretty serious card, as most of the time, no one on the outside can see what the big deal is. To the woman standing amidst the swords, though, the fear is everything. The anxiety she feels in this bleak landscape is stronger than any chain that could hold her, and only she can let the anxiety go. Can I tell you my anxiety lately? God. God. Death.
So much anxiety.
I was like, I'm stressed, man.
Right. Right.
But that's okay. So hope and good things at the start of the week. All the anxiety takes over. That sounds like my midweek every week. So
Right.
accurate there. But we're going to end it with the Ace of Wands. Dun, 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 dun.
We've not had this one before.
In magic, wands are used to help you focus your power and take actions. Let's see. I can't see, these don't show a whole lot of things. It shows the I don't know that mascot is the right word, patron animal. So apparently for wands, the animal associated with fire is salamanders, which I don't understand. I'm sure it makes a lot of sense if I read more, but just so you know.
I have a fire salamander in my Harry Potter game.
Right? So like it's they're fire.
It's fine.
Okay. The wand is given to you, which could be interpreted as the universe handing you some good luck or good karma. But what you do with that is up to you. Let's see. Staves, rods, pipes, or clubs, all the same. The Ace of Wands is succeeding beyond your dreams. Sometimes, even against reason, things line up in such a way that luck, coincidence, hard work, and planning make everything turn out right. Also, that's a pretty big stick. How are you going to use it? For good or for evil? Are you going to guide people with it or clobber them in the head with it? With great power comes great responsibility. This card is heavy with responsibility. Take care and be careful what you do with that stick. You could take your eye out if you're not careful.
I'm gonna clobber them in the head because they're being dicks.
Right?
That's why.
Gonna poke them in the eye. Stop being a dick.
Right.
So, I mean, so it sounds like not terrible, like hope, and then we get anxious about it, but we can find our own way out because we have all the shining magic of luck and everything with our wand, right? That's what I read. That's what I saw.
Yes. That's what I saw.
That's what I saw. That's fine. Everything's fine now.
That's your
That's how I'm interpreting it. And this is my show, so I get to interpret it. If that were true, I'd be like, great things every day for us forever.
Always.
Never bad. Right. All right. Well, there you go. That's what the cards tell us. Hopefully it all works out in the end and we choose good and not evil. Although I'm feeling a little bit villainous these days. So I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it's justified too.
All right, Claire. What is our next topic going to be? What does our magical wheel of fate? What is it going to be?
See what we got. Let's see.
No whammy, no whammy.
Movies.
Oh, nice and
We've
vague.
had this one, haven't we?
Oh, we did. That's right, because I did. I did Alfred Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm. And I did all the cursed movie sets.
Ooh. Well, then we'll have to take a new twist on
movies. That's right. We got movies again.
Well, there we go. Whole different story this time.
Right.
Go us.
Oh, and throwing it back to our first episode, there was a Jaws marathon on TV. And I watched it like 3 times. I was just like, oh, I'll just watch it again. It's fine.
Oh, it was the same movie Jaws over and over?
Yes.
Oh, man. Now, I watched... My mom has no memory of any of the things that we have done together that have solidified like my memory of my mom. But she watched with me all of the sequels. Like Jaws was on and like she wandered in and out as she does. But like we watched all the terrible sequels and she's like, I don't think I've ever seen them. Like, well, you have. We watched them together. Right. She's like, I don't remember. It's like, why don't you remember any of the things?
Right. You're like, come on,
Mom. Gotta be with me here. But great. So next time, movies.
Again. That's our first
It is
repeat.
our first repeat. That's fair. I mean, it's gonna be your 23rd episode, and no one cares.
Right.
It's 23. Oh, you're 23. Cool.
Meh.
Fine.
Right.
Do you have a job? You paying your own bills? That's all anyone cares about.
Right. Yeah. You out of college yet? Did you graduate?
How much debt you got?
I know, right?
uh,
Oh, jeez.
well, I guess until next time, you can find us on all the things and all the places, and maybe you'll even hear our fun new song about satanic cults.
It's true.
at
Just maybe. Brunch and
Mhm.
Judge.
And please send some topics to our wheel, because I'm surprised we got a repeat. We said several we've not done yet, but it's cool.
I
It's
know
cool.
we do
It's the
have
magic
we
of
do have several we haven't done.
fate. We're just here we are. But
That's
send
right.
us
That's what the Wheel of Fate gave us.
send us your topic ideas and any stories you want us to share with us to
brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
amazing. So until next time, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
Bye.
Bye.
Brunch and Judge. Brunch and Judge. We brunch and judge everything and give you opinions that nobody asked for.